Hey guys, it's been way too long since we have had a new episode of Scandal, but tonight was the night for a new episode, so let's kind of talk about what happened. So at the end of the last episode, we saw Olivia get kidnapped. We saw Olivia and Jake have their little Scandal dance party, and then Jake left the room for 5 seconds and Olivia got taken. Where, oh where, is Liam Neeson when you need him? It was really cool in this episode, right? Because we kind of got to see things from Olivia's perspective. And obviously the people that have taken her know what they're doing, right? Because there's this whole sequence where we see Jake, you know, come back into the room, realize she's gone. He races downstairs to try to find her. And we're thinking like, oh my gosh, he just missed her. When in reality, they basically just dragged her across the hall and they hold her there until Jake leaves. And then they finally take her out of the building. This episode was really deceiving, right? There were lots of these little moments where you thought you knew what was happening. And then at the end, it was like, you didn't really know what was happening all that much. So we see her get taken. We see the guys that have taken her. It looks like they take her someplace like to another country somewhere, like in the Middle East, and she's shoved into a cell with this guy named Ian. Now we're supposed to believe that Ian has been there for a while and he and Olivia kind of developed this relationship. Ian's like having a nervous breakdown, like falling apart. And Olivia is the one who's really just like, look, Ian, we're gonna get out of here. Come on, get it together. And I must say, Ian was definitely a little twist. I did not trust Ian from the beginning, you guys. The whole time I just kept thinking like, oh my gosh, he's so one of them. Do not trust him. But she does trust him. And like at one point she tells him like, if I'm missing, the president of the United States is looking for me. He will not stop until he finds me. And her and Ian kind of build this whole little rapport. And then at one point she tries to escape and her like captors decide that she needs to be punished, and so they kill Ian, or so we think. Later, of course, the big bomb that we find out is that Ian is one of them, da-doy, and Ian is the man that is in charge. We get that, you know, Olivia's been kidnapped by the vice president and all of that whole group because they're trying to force Fitz's hand. They're going to try to force him to go to war, to do what they want him to do. I think the big question is, will they be able to rescue her before Fitz completely gives in? Because we know that he like absolutely loves her and that he's going to do whatever it takes once he realizes that she's gone. It was interesting in this episode to kind of see her kind of like disintegrate, you know, like she starts off really like, we're gonna get out of here and we're gonna figure ways out, and she's looking at windows and doing all kinds of things. And I think my favorite bit of the episode is eventually after she thinks that Ian has been killed, she kind of goes into this depression. So there was this bit where we get that she is just kind of locked herself in her head and she's like living in this kind of fantasy realm. So, you know, she has this fantasy that, oh, Jake comes to rescue her. And then like in a flash of a second, we see her living in Vermont with Fitz, and she's living the life that she's always dreamed of living with him. The two of them are living in Vermont. Fitz is the mayor. I mean, at one point she opened the refrigerator to like get some orange juice or something, and there was like a whole row of jam along the top aisle. Did we all catch that? And did we all catch the name on the jam jar? It said like White Hat Jam Company or something like that. So we're basically supposed to believe that she is living her fantasy life, basically. But we get that she's given up a little and that she's just kind of gone into her happy place to try to survive. I loved that moment though, you guys, when she's kind of hallucinating and all of a sudden Abby appears to tell her like, hey, guess what? Nobody's coming to rescue you. No man is coming to rescue you. You are the only gladiator in this place. You need to rescue yourself. I thought that was a great little moment where it was like, you know what, Olivia, we're gonna give you a little bit to go to your happy place. But even there, like in your happy place, there is a part of you that knows that you need to get up and you need to get busy. But eventually she does escape. But when she does, she realizes that it's all kind of a facade. You know, the whole episode she's been looking at this kind of door at the end of this hallway, and she's been thinking like, if I just make it through that door, then I can get to some place and I can escape. But once she breaks through that door, it turns out that they're like in a larger like warehouse, God only knows where, and that it's all been fake. Her whole idea that she was in another country isn't true because they've just been using sound effects and other things to fool her. And then of course Ian strolls out and reveals himself to be the big bad. So obviously they're going to hold her there, and based on the previews for next week, they're really just going to start to use her as a pawn to make the president do whatever they want him to do. There was a moment too at the very end when she realizes that she's not gonna escape, you know, that Ian is the bad guy. You hear all of these voices, you know, like going through her head. And one of those voices is her dad, basically saying, you are on your own. Because boy, wouldn't it be handy to have Rowan around right about now. Even though he's crazy, I mean, that's when you would want the crazy guy on your side. I guess fingers crossed that OPA is gonna figure something out. Good Lord. They might be a little bit out of their depth. I guess we'll see. It was a really good episode, you guys. Like, really different, it felt like. Especially because it was just like, I don't know, it was just really different feeling than a normal kind of Scandal episode, and I really, really enjoyed that. So I really hope, you know, that first episode is a sign of what's going to be coming for the second half of the season, that we're going to see a lot of great things, a lot of unexpected things. I'm kind of super excited about what's coming. Now, I'm going to need Olivia to get rescued soon, though, because that poor child, her hair, she got kidnapped, and they took her into that little room, and then it was like, the very next scene, it was like, good God, woman, what happened to the do? I mean, it just went to hell. I guess that's what happens when you get kidnapped. There you go. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Would love to hear what you guys thought about this episode. Don't forget to tell me about that down in the comment section. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.